All right. How do you feel about the use of toys in your relationships? Sex toys, that is. There's that whole talk about, like, get from straight men about, well, if you're using a dildo, that does mean you want a penis, and it's like, well, no, it's not. Just think a little bit more about it, and it's like, I've got a hole, it needs to be filled, and the person who's actually doing that is the person who I really want to make me feel happy. So it's all about exploring yourself.
And I think especially nowadays you get, like, the way that toys are designed, like you have like in Brighton a few different sex shops that are basically intended for women. Not necessarily just for women having sex with women, but like,
yeah, which
they
is the
are
other
meant to
important
be
thing.
for women. So they do have a lot of that as well. And like there is just this movement toward, like, I think it kind of comes back to that thing of women shouldn't be taking control of their own sexual desires, almost in a sense. And like, I don't know, like, I know a lot of lesbians like my age who are very, very proud of their like massive collection of toys and like have invested quite a lot of money in like different things. But yeah, like nowadays a lot of dildos are not shaped like penises. They're like variety of different things. Or they're made intentionally to not, you know?
I think there's a lot of girls, though, who are very anti-toys, though. I mean, I've had partners that have been opposed to penetration. I've had partners that are certainly opposed to toys and the use of toys, and, you know, considering it as it's emulating men in a sexual act, and that somehow they've got to close off from that. And definitely, you know, you see it on, you know, like Facebook and stuff where, you know, if like Diva asked about, you know, they did a sex survey and women were going mad about it, saying that, you know, why have you included a question about toys? You know, what is this? This was coming from lesbians saying to other lesbians, what is this obsession with the use of toys? Why does toys have to come up at all for being a lesbian?
I mean, toys don't necessarily have to come up every time, do they? I mean, it gives you just more of a choice, like what you feel like, and then you might use a toy or you might not use a toy. So
yeah, and a lot of straight couples have that. Like, you know, they have toys. They sometimes use them. They sometimes don't. And I think for me, it comes down to like, if I'm having sex with someone, I want them to be comfortable. I want there to be full enthusiastic consent, and I want them to be really into it. So if they don't enjoy toys, I'm not gonna be like, why not, and like question that, because they'll probably have their own reasons that they might not want to discuss at that exact moment in time, and those reasons might just be because they don't enjoy it. Like, everyone actually does have a very different anatomy in terms of pleasure. So like, some girls just don't actually enjoy that. Like, it doesn't do it.
It doesn't do it. Or even like psychology as well. They might not want something else. They may just want you, the person, their skin, doing that personal touch, as opposed to something else doing it for them. So it is just about choice and what you like and what you don't like.
And there's now such a variety as well. I mean, I think if I was in a long-term relationship with someone that were really opposed to toys, I would probably take them onto the internet and like show them loads of a variety of different things and see if they weren't interested in something.
Or go to a market or something.
Yeah, well, just I think internet, because they might not be comfortable if they're uncomfortable with toys, going to like a sex shop.
Would you stay with them though?
If
they were really opposed?
Oh yeah, totally. That wouldn't, like, I personally, like, for me, it's not so much about physically the exact things that are happening. It's more to do with the scenario and whether or not the person is really turned on and is really, really, like, enthusiastically full of consent and really, really into it. You know, so, like, if they have that level of enthusiasm without toys, then sure, whatever, it's cheaper, like, fuck it.
I always get devastated though. I've got this whole toy box under my bed and I'm like, it's never going to be used again. I like get really, I mean, I find when I have had girls that have gone, oh, I'm not, you know, I don't like toys and I don't want to use them. And I'm like, always like, oh, you know. Like, I mean, it's all right, like, you know, if it's like a one-night stand or something and they're like, oh, no, I'm not really into it, then that's fine. But I think if it's someone that I really want to have a relationship with, then I'd be really disappointed.
Yeah.
You can see the potential and they can't, and that's always a bit of a letdown.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
But I think also some of that does come down to the fact that, like, I don't know, personally, like, I'm quite a polyamorous individual, so I don't know how much I would be able to, like, fully be satisfied in a monogamous relationship with someone who was that unwilling to experiment with anything in bed for a very long period of time. So there would probably just end up being significantly long periods of time in which we just didn't have sex, and I don't think that would be very fulfilling for either of us. So in that sense, like, maybe not, but then in the other sense, like, if I was in a polyamorous relationship with someone who wasn't really into toys, then I could be in another polyamorous relationship with someone who was. So, you know, kind of solves that problem a little bit.
Yeah.
But, like,
it's like, you know, when you get with someone and then, you know, there always has to be that question of, so, you know, do you like to use toys?
Yeah.
That awkward, it's like almost an awkward question.
Well, it's a shame though, because it shouldn't really be awkward, should it? But it is.
But it is.
Because it's about sex.
Yeah.
And it also says a lot about you.
Well, it tells about that you are open to experiment, doesn't it?
Yeah. And then it's like how far, I know it's not just about toys, but it's also about like other things in sex, like what avenues, you know, do you want to go down,
and
like,
what are
as individuals or
and...
all together. So if it's the toy talk, it just kind of opens up a hell of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And also you kind of lay down the ground rules of like how honest you are with each other and stuff like that.
I would, in fact, I know I would be significantly happier staying with someone who was really not into toys and really honest about it and really upfront about it than someone who really, really didn't want to and was kind of doing it for me.
Yeah.
Like, that would make me incredibly uncomfortable. I just wouldn't. But I think that'd be quite obvious.
Yeah, I think that would be
early.
obvious.
But yeah.
Yeah.